They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Everyone thinks the WNBA finally hit the jackpot with Caitlin Clark. But what actually happened is so much stranger than what you've been told. It starts with the league's astonishing self-sabotage, an injury that's less an accident and more a direct consequence of negligence, and the single most explosive rage-fueled rant from Stephen A. Smith you've ever heard. He's exposing everyone the WNBA bullies, the clueless commissioner, and especially Angel Reese, whose back injury looks suspiciously like a carefully staged act of rebellion. This isn't just about basketball. It's about a league actively destroying its own golden goose. If you're with Caitlin, type baby goats below. Let's dive into the absolute chaos. Player keeping those turnstiles spinning is now out for the rest of the season.
Let's find out what the rest of the WNBA is going to do in terms of popularity. Yep. You've been saying up and down that, whether tacitly or directly, that, she's getting too much shine, even though we respect and what have you. We deserve our shine. Well, now's a perfect opportunity for you to prove that. If not, acknowledge her impact on the financial aspects that she brings to the table, adopt the mentality that a rising tide lifts all boats, and learn to have an elevated level of appreciation for what she has brought to the game and assist her in making the league even more profitable.
This is where it gets absolutely insane. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a player. She was the human defibrillator that shocked women's basketball back to life. Before her, WNBA games were background noise. Now people were rescheduling their lives just to watch her unleash logo threes. And what was the league's genius response to this generational, once-in-a-lifetime talent? They ran her into the ground. The WNBA will desperately try to spin this as some unfortunate turn of events. But the chilling truth is, the entire product is collapsing faster than Angel Reese's infamous shot selection. This isn't just a dip in viewership. It's a full-blown nosedive, a free fall into irrelevance. And Stephen A. Smith was the very first to expose this horrific truth.
But you have to be cognizant that no matter how you step out of your house, you are now Angel Reese. And you will always be picked apart, unfortunately.
She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant young lady. She's very smart, very accomplished. And on top of it all, she is in this age where she does know social media exists, and she has exploited it to her advantage. And so when you take that into consideration, that means you're mindful of the imagery and the perception that you're assisting in creating about yourself.
But here's where it gets really crazy. Stephen A. didn't just comment. He detonated. While everyone else offered lukewarm get-well-soon platitudes, Stephen A. came in like a Category 5 hurricane. He didn't just rip the refs for their appalling bias. He ripped the entire incompetent league, and most importantly, he ripped into the jealous, bitter players who've been trying to elbow Clark out of the spotlight since day one. This wasn't just commentary. It was a courtroom verdict delivered with fiery precision. Stephen A. laid out the damning evidence: clueless executives, spineless referees, and the constant Angel Reese drama. Just another embarrassing layer, adding to the league's public humiliation. His core burning question: you think the league can survive without Caitlin Clark? Cool. Check the numbers, then try not to cry. And trust me, those numbers are terrifying, revealing a secret the WNBA desperately tried to bury.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
And let's truly dissect those numbers, because they paint a devastating picture that the league is terrified to acknowledge. Games with Clark this season, an average of 1.178 million viewers. The games without her, a pathetic 394,000. That's not a dip. That's a freefall. A cratering so steep, it looks like the entire league fell off the face of the earth itself. And yet the constant maddening noise from players like Angel Reese, whining about Clark stealing the spotlight, persists. Here's a mind-blowing revelation. Maybe people aren't tuning in for a player who makes more headlines for manufactured drama than for dominant game-changing play. Caitlin Clark generates genuine widespread interest. Angel Reese, unfortunately, generates eye rolls and constant controversy.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do.
That's just the beginning of this rabbit hole. Stephen A. Smith didn't just wake up angry today. He's watched the WNBA fumble this golden opportunity for months, seething in silence. He saw supposed legends like Cheryl Swoops throwing shade at Clark, as if jealousy was a paid position. He saw Angel Reese weaponizing every media moment to play the perpetual victim. And he watched Commissioner Engelbert, who acted like Clark's meteoric rise was some happy accident, instead of the only reason anyone outside a niche fan base cared about the WNBA. Engelbert's strategy, or complete lack thereof, is so baffling it's almost a parody. The league stumbles into its once-in-a-generation superstar, the one player capable of dragging them into mainstream relevance. And how does she react? With bland press releases and zero coherent plan to protect Clark from being physically attacked every single night. It's like finding a winning lottery ticket and then using it to clean up a spill. Pure, unadulterated incompetence.
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from...
What happens next defies all logic. While the WNBA silently self-destructed through inaction, Stephen A. Smith has been screaming, "I told you so," from every possible platform, and he's earned that right. He's been pointing out the glaringly obvious for months. Clark isn't just a star. She is asterisk. The WNBA, without her, the league reverts to irrelevant background noise, a distant whisper in the sports world. And now, with her tragically sidelined, the WNBA is desperately trying to explain how their golden goose ended up battered, bruised, and benched. A secret only now being uncovered by Stephen A. C's relentless firestorm.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
Stephen A. dropped a truth bomb amidst his fury. If Caitlin Clark is the magnet pulling in millions of eyeballs, then shut up, protect her, and ride the wave. He wasn't just right, he was prophetic. Stop pretending this is some collective movement. It's Clark carrying the entire league on her shoulders, single-handedly. If you can't see that, you don't deserve to cash a single paycheck she's earned for you. The numbers don't lie, and the receipts are crystal clear. Clark's debut against the Sky, a staggering 2.7 million viewers, the single most watched WNBA game on ESPN ever. That wasn't a fluke, it was a coronation. A generational player had arrived, dragging millions of new fans along for the ride, and that's the hidden truth the league wanted to ignore.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
And what did the WNBA do in response to this unprecedented surge of popularity? Did they celebrate her, protect her, build an empire around her? Absolutely not. They actively tried to downplay her impact, acting like acknowledging Clark's undeniable dominance would somehow diminish everyone else. Instead of leaning into the star who was rewriting the league's fortunes and rescuing it from obscurity, they fumbled around issuing bland marketing blurbs that felt like they were written by unpaid interns. Stephen A. saw the entire train wreck unfolding in slow motion. He watched Clark's star rise while Commissioner Engelbert shrugged, while Angel Reese sulked, and while the referees simply swallowed their whistles, allowing chaos to reign. And now here we are, Clark tragically sidelined, the WNBA in full panic mode, and Stephen A. delivering the most savage, irrefutable critique imaginable. This isn't just about another draft pick. Clark was the league's lifeline, the lottery ticket they'd been waiting decades to scratch, but instead of cherishing it, they treated it like garbage. Now that ticket is out of circulation, and the entire league is realizing, far too late, that Clark isn't just valuable, she's utterly irreplaceable.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
This is the part that will blow your mind. Stephen A. is standing tall, looking directly at Engelbert, the refs, and Angel Reese, saying the one thing they desperately don't want to hear: you had one job, protect Caitlin Clark, and you blew it. The bottom line, the WNBA had the golden goose in Caitlin Clark, and they treated her like just another pigeon. Stephen A. isn't just angry, he's delivering the brutal, unvarnished wake-up call this league desperately needs. Clark isn't an interchangeable piece in some grand scheme. She is the attraction, the face, the reason sponsors are suddenly cutting massive checks. And if she's not protected, respected, and prioritized, the WNBA won't just lose a player, it'll lose the *1* chance it had to truly matter, to transcend its niche status and finally break into the mainstream. This is the secret nobody wants to admit out loud.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Everything you think you know is about to change. Stephen A. Smith has been the lone, unyielding voice in a crowded room of self-serving silence, cutting through the flimsy excuses and the thinly veiled resentment. While others tiptoed around fragile egos, clinging to outdated narratives about fairness and parity, Stephen A. was blunt from day one. Pay attention. He saw the undeniable value, unlike the bitter sniping from some former players and the constant manufactured jealousy from Angel Reese. He called out the deep-seated resentment months ago, predicting the very chaos we're seeing, and now it's reached its ugly, unavoidable conclusion.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
What happens next defies all logic. Clark isn't missing some forgotten Tuesday night road game. She's missing * marquee matchups. * the kind ESPN promotes for weeks, nationally televised doubleheaders now wiped from the schedule. These weren't just games, they were cash cows, revenue generators, and without Clark, the financial gut punch is immediate and brutal, a devastating blow to a league struggling for stability. This isn't just Indiana losing its star. This is the WNBA losing the one gravitational force pulling everything together, its very foundation. Clark isn't just scoring buckets. She's the magnet. She's the reason parents drag their kids to packed arenas. The reason casual fans flip to ESPN instead of binging Netflix. The reason jerseys sell out instantly. Remove her and the Fever are just another team clawing for relevance in a league that cannot, under any circumstances, afford to be irrelevant. And here's what has Stephen A. absolutely fuming. This entire disaster was entirely preventable, a catastrophe of their own making.
Look, I think Stephen A. is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky, because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like, now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know, because majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlin Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlin Clark.
But here's where it gets really crazy. Injuries are an unfortunate part of sports. Yes, but when your most valuable, most marketable player is slammed, hacked, blindsided off the ball, shoved into screens, and practically targeted every single night, while refs consistently swallow their whistles, that's not bad luck, that's gross negligence. Clark has been hit with more cheap shots than any player in recent memory, a brutal gauntlet, and the league allowed it to slide. These weren't simple fouls. They were glorified WWE auditions, masquerading as defense. And the WNBA's pathetic, deafening response. A collective shrug. Pretend it's normal. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is probably smashing remotes at home, screaming, protect her, damn it, and he is unequivocally right. This isn't just disappointment. It's outright malpractice. A scandal waiting to fully erupt.
Everybody was moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
the tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
The receipts don't lie, and they are indisputable. Even in a loss to the Liberty, Clark still drew 2.22 million viewers on CBS, the second highest WNBA rating ever on that network. That kind of draw from a regular season game is simply unheard of, unprecedented in league history. That's what true star power, genuine star power looks like. But now, without her, those numbers are about to plummet into oblivion, a catastrophic fall. Imagine being a marketing executive trying to sell ad space right now. Well, we had 2 million viewers, but now our star is limping possibly out indefinitely. Advertisers see it. Networks see it. Everyone knows exactly what's coming. The impending financial ruin. And Stephen A., who lives for receipts, is already licking his chops, ready to drop the ratings cliff notes on live television, delivering the final devastating blow.
2.2 million average viewers tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season or playoff game.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
Everything you think you know is about to change. The sting here is sharper, more painful, because it didn't have to end this way. If the league had simply admitted, from day one, what was crystal clear, that Clark wasn't just another player, she was the player, the game changer, things could have been so profoundly different. Instead, they actively downplayed her impact, acted embarrassed by her unprecedented popularity, and allowed bitter veteran players to throw relentless shade. They treated her as a disruptor, an inconvenience, not a savior. But every ticket sold, every TV record broken, every headline written asterisk proved asterisk she was the engine, the driving force behind their unexpected surge. Now that she's tragically sidelined, all those people who scoffed at her impact are about to learn the hardest lesson of all. She wasn't just hype, she was the entire show. This is the part that will blow your mind. Clark wasn't just boosting the league, she was fundamentally transforming it, carving out a new path. Families who'd never even considered the WNBA were planning summer vacations around Fever games. Kids were out on playgrounds, copying her logo threes. Inspired by her magic, women's basketball was finally cool, finally trending, finally in the national spotlight. And all of that explosive, world-changing momentum rested squarely on her shoulders. Now those fans are looking around, confused and disappointed, asking, if asterisk she's asterisk not playing, why am asterisk I asterisk watching? That's the nightmare scenario Stephen A. has been warning about for months, a terrifying reality few dared to acknowledge. Here's the terrifying truth. Clark isn't just the best player right now, she's the bridge. The fragile, irreplaceable link between the WNBA's struggling past and the explosive future it could have had. Without her, they regress. They go back to begging networks for 30-second highlight packages, back to half-empty gyms, back to being a niche product instead of a national conversation. She's not a player, she's an economic engine, a force of nature. And now she's in street clothes. Let's call it what it is, outright malpractice from the league. A betrayal of their own brightest star. Clark has been battered with elbows, blindsided off the ball, shoved into screens, and checked like it's the NHL, not the WNBA. And through it all, Engelbert and her referees said absolutely nothing. No fines, no suspensions, no accountability. They allowed open season on their cash cow, and now the cow is down. Stephen A. isn't just angry, he's practically shouting, his voice echoing with righteous fury. You had one job, protect her. Fans aren't just disappointed, they are enraged, their frustration boiling over. Social media is overflowing with posts from people swearing they won't watch until Clark returns. Some are openly boycotting broadcasts, others are selling their tickets. And honestly, who can blame them? They didn't tune in for league parity or to watch Angel Reese fake another injury. They tuned in for Caitlin Clark, and without her, the magic is gone, evaporated into thin air. Watching a WNBA game without Clark is like ordering a gourmet 5-star pizza and getting handed a limp, flavorless salad. Sure, it's technically food, but absolutely nobody is excited about it. Nobody is satisfied. And now the WNBA is staring directly into the terrifying fallout it created. Ratings will tank, attendance will sag, sponsors will grumble, pulling their support. And when that happens, Stephen A. will be there, live on national television, waving the receipts like a victorious prosecutor and roasting Engelbert, the refs, and every single hater who thought Clark was just hype. Because when you mistreat your biggest star, when you refuse to protect her, when you let jealousy dictate your officiating and your policies, the collapse is 100% on you, and there's no hiding from it. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle. Caitlin Clark was that lightning. And now, with her tragically sidelined, the storm is not just coming, it's already here, devastating everything in its path. These next few weeks won't just prove Stephen A. right. They will define whether the WNBA can ever learn from its catastrophic mistakes, or whether it'll simply sit back and watch its entire future walk out the door, never to return. If you believe the WNBA needs a wake-up call, and Clark deserves better, then make your voice heard in the comments. Drop a baby goats to show where your loyalty truly lies. This storm is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned, subscribe for the undeniable truth, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out on our next deep dive into the shocking realities of the sports world. We'll see you there.